Master your reaction. Not their action people out here will always try to press your buttons like they own the remote to your soul. You can't stop them from talking slick, acting out, or throwing shade, but you can stop yourself from dancing to their tune. That's where true strength lies, not in controlling others, but in controlling you. You see, the biggest lie folks believe is, they made me mad. Ain't nobody got that much power unless you gave it to them. Anger don't come from the outside in. It comes from the inside out. If you let someone reach into your peace and pull out rage, you handed them the key. Reactions are choices, not reflexes. You don't have to pop off every time someone gets loud. You don't have to clap back just cause someone tried you. You are not a puppet. You are a person with power, with discipline, with destiny. You ain't here to fight every fool that crosses your path. See, when you live reactive, you live in chains. You chain to opinions, chain to drama, chained to every little insult that lands on your doorstep. But when you live in response, intentional response, you become untouchable. You move different. You move with purpose, not impulse. Most people don't realize that mastering your reaction is the same as mastering your peace. And peace is expensive. It costs you pride, ego, and sometimes even revenge. But the return, oh, it's freedom. It's the kind of freedom that says, say what you want, I ain't moving. People love to trigger others because it's easier than fixing themselves. But if you stop reacting, they lose their power. That silence you hold, that calm you keep, it confuses chaos. It makes loud mouths nervous. They expect fire, and when they get peace, they don't know what to do with it. Sometimes folks are sent just to see if you'll fall for the same trap again. You know the one, where you get angry, lash out, regret it, and repeat. But what if this time you broke the pattern? What if this time you just smiled and kept it moving? That's growth. That's maturity. You don't owe people your peace. You don't owe them your energy, your fire, or your attention. You owe you your sanity. You owe you your focus. And sometimes the most powerful reaction is no reaction at all. Sometimes strength looks like stillness, not shouting. You ever notice how the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest? That's because real power is quiet. Real power don't flinch. Real power don't need to prove anything. When you've mastered your reaction, you've mastered the battlefield. You're not being weak by walking away. You're being wise. You're not being soft when you let something slide. You're being strategic. Anybody can throw hands. Anybody can yell. But it takes a real one to stand in the storm and not let it shake them. The real test of character ain't how you act when things are good. It's how you react when folks try to get under your skin. That's where your power is. That's where your growth shows. That's when heaven looks down and says, now that's someone I can trust with greater. You don't get to your destiny by arguing with distractions. You get there by focusing, by moving in silence, by letting God fight what you don't need to touch. Every time you choose peace over pettiness, you elevate. They're gonna keep coming because darkness can't stand light. But don't dim your glow just to match their level. Keep shining, keep smiling, keep mastering yourself, because when you're in control of you, nothing else can own you. Reactions are your responsibility. So next time someone tries to stir the storm in you, breathe. Pause. Choose strength over spite. Because you've got too much purpose to be controlled by people who don't even know where they're going. Peace is a choice, not a reward some folks waiting for life to hand them peace like it's a paycheck at the end of the month. But peace ain't a reward for surviving drama. It's a decision you make in the middle of it. Peace don't show up after the storm. It lives in you during the storm if you choose to keep it there. You can't sit around hoping the world calms down so you can finally breathe, because let's be honest, the world might never calm down. People gon' lie, bills gon' come, stress gon' knock, but that don't mean you have to answer the door every time it bangs. Peace is not about circumstances, it's about mindset. It's not what's around you, it's what's within you. You don't find peace, you decide peace. You wake up and say, today, I refuse to let nonsense steal my joy. And when that nonsense comes, and it will, you stand firm in that decision. Folks think peace is passive. Nah, peace is a weapon. Peace is what makes you unshakable. It's what keeps you grounded when life starts throwing uppercuts. You want to be strong. Learn how to stay calm when everything else is falling apart. When you treat peace like a prize, you'll spend your whole life chasing it. But when you treat it like a lifestyle, it follows you everywhere. You don't have to escape to the beach or hide in silence to feel peace. You can have it in traffic, in meetings, in the middle of conflict, if you decide to. And let me tell you, peace is expensive. It costs you your urge to control people. It costs you your desire to always be right. It costs you arguments that ain't worth having and opinions you never needed to defend. But the return is priceless. The return is rest. The return is freedom. Peace don't mean you don't care. It just means you care more about protecting your spirit than proving your point. It means you'd rather be centered than celebrated. It means you understand that not every fire needs your fuel, and not every comment deserves your voice. People gon' talk. That's what they do. But peace says, I hear you, but I ain't moved by you. Peace says, I've got too much going for me to be pulled down into pettiness. Peace don't argue, it ascends, and that's what you gotta do. Rise above. Letting go of drama doesn't mean you weak. It means you wise. It means you're grown enough to know when silence is better than shouting. It means you're confident enough to walk away without needing a victory dance. There are two kinds of peace. The fake kind that depends on everything being perfect, and the real kind that stays steady when everything's a mess. Choose the real kind. The real kind says, no matter what happens out there, I got peace in here. And when you got that, you're untouchable. Peace is a daily choice. Every morning you gotta decide, am I gon' carry stress today or strength? Am I gon' let fear win or faith lead? Am I gon' react or respond? Because how you start your day often determines how it ends. You'll never reach your full potential if you're always emotionally tangled in other people's chaos. Peace helps you see clearly. It helps you think wisely. It helps you focus on what matters instead of getting lost in what doesn't. Don't wait for life to feel peaceful. Make your life peaceful by how you respond to life. Turn off the noise. Shut down the drama. Create boundaries like fences around your joy. Peace is your responsibility. No one else is gonna guard it for you. And here's the truth. Peace comes when you trust something bigger than the problem. It comes when you believe that no matter what breaks, you won't. That even if the whole world shakes, your soul stands still. That kind of peace, that's the kind you choose, and once you do, nothing can take it. So today, don't look for peace, be peace, carry it like armor, walk in it like it's your shadow, speak it, protect it, live it. Because the life you want starts with the peace you refuse to lose. Don't take things personal. They're fighting their own battles. People will lash out, disrespect you, ignore you, talk behind your back. And your first instinct is to ask, what did I do? But here's the truth. Most of the time, it ain't even about you. It's about what they're dealing with on the inside. Their actions reflect their battles, not your value. You gotta stop thinking every attack is personal. You weren't the target. You were just standing there when their pain exploded. People carry wounds so deep, they bleed on anyone close. That bleeding ain't your fault, but if you internalize it, you'll start to believe you deserve it. See, what people show you is rarely the full story. That anger they throw at you might be leftover frustration from their own failures. That bitterness they speak might be rooted in jealousy, fear, or brokenness. But if you take it personal, you invite their pain into your peace. Don't you dare lower yourself. worth based on someone else's dysfunction. You are not their mirror, you are not their medicine, and you are not responsible for fixing what they refuse to confront. Some folks are just looking for someone to blame for the chaos they created. It takes maturity to understand this. It takes spiritual vision to look at somebody who disrespected you and say, they must be going through something, not in arrogance, but in wisdom. Because if you don't, you'll carry offense like a pack heavy, exhausting, and unnecessary. They rolled their eyes at you. That ain't about you. They didn't invite you. That ain't about you. They lied on your name. Still, not about you. That's them projecting their shadows. That's them wrestling with demons you can't see. Don't make it your identity. You waste precious energy trying to decode every look, every word, every silence. Stop! You've got too much purpose to keep replaying somebody else's pain in your head like a song on repeat. You're not here to absorb emotions that don't belong to you. You can't control how people feel about you, but you can control whether it controls you. Don't let their attitude decide your altitude. Don't let their words become your wounds. Just because they're broken doesn't mean you have to live bleeding. Some people attack because they're scared. Some belittle because they feel small. Some gossip because they crave attention. But none of that has to stick to you. You have the power to let it roll off, to shake it off, to rise above it like it never touched you. And when you stop taking it personal, you become dangerous in the best way, unshakable, calm, focused. Folks will come for you and wonder why you didn't flinch. Why? Because you finally learned it's not about you. It never was. You stop explaining yourself. You stop defending what don't need defense. You stop shrinking your light to make their darkness feel comfortable. You keep moving, keep building, keep growing, while they keep battling themselves. You start praying for people instead of reacting to them. That's real strength. When someone hurts you and your first response is compassion, that means you've graduated from emotional school. You ain't living at their level no more. When someone is rude or cold or unfair, remind yourself, they must be hurting somewhere. Not to excuse them, but to free yourself. You don't have to carry every burden handed to you. Some packages are meant to be left unopened. Your peace should not be held hostage by someone else's bad day. You're not their emotional punching bag. You're not their fixer, and you're not their enemy. You are free to walk in joy, even when others choose to stay in pain. So remember, next time someone tries to dim your light, it might just be because they lost theirs. Don't take it personal. Take it as a sign to rise even higher. The quieter you become, the louder God speaks sometimes in life. You gotta learn to hush, not because you don't have something to say, but because your silence says more. You ain't weak because you didn't clap back. You're wise because you knew when to sit still and let your peace do the talking. There comes a point when all the noise around you, critics, gossip, doubts, fears, gets so loud you can't even hear your own thoughts. And that's when you know it's time to pull back. Not because you're running, but because you're recharging. The quieter you become, the more clear everything gets. That's when you start hearing direction instead of distractions. That's when you start feeling strength instead of stress. Because in silence, your soul can finally breathe. Noise is everywhere. People talking nonsense, running their mouths about things they don't even understand. You could jump in and defend yourself. But for what? To prove something to people who already made up their minds. Nah, that ain't power. That's wasted energy. Some of your biggest breakthroughs won't come while you're yelling, fighting, or debating. They'll come in the stillness, in that moment when you stop explaining yourself and start trusting that what's meant for you don't need defending. Silence isn't retreat's strategy. It's your spirit pulling you back from chaos and guiding you toward clarity. When everybody else is reacting, arguing, performing, you're observing, growing, and listening to something higher than human opinion. You ever notice how storms make people scream, but warriors get quiet. That's because the battle ain't always outside, it's inside. And when you win the war within, no noise out there can shake you. Some folks mistake your silence for weakness, but they don't know what you're hearing in that quiet space. They don't know you're getting downloads. They don't know you're being refined. They don't know you're aligning with something greater than the drama they're addicted to. There's wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to shut it down. Just because you have the mic doesn't mean you have to use it. Sometimes the strongest move is to say nothing at all and let the truth speak for itself. You don't have to announce every step. You don't have to respond to every shade. You don't have to fight battles that were never assigned to you. Stay quiet and let your success make the noise. Every time you stay silent when you're tempted to explode, you're growing. Every time you resist the urge to defend what don't need defending, you're evolving. Every time you choose peace over pettiness, you're graduating. Silence gives you access to strength that noise can't reach. It connects you to your center, your purpose, your wisdom, and when you're connected to that, baby, nothing can pull you off your path, not critics, not lies, not haters, not even fear. You don't need to match their energy. You don't need to get loud to be heard. Sometimes your silence will convict louder than your words ever could. Sometimes the absence of a reaction is the loudest statement you'll ever make. So when life gets loud, get quiet. When people get messy, get still. When the pressure rises, fall into peace. Because in the silence, you'll hear what matters. And once you hear that, you'll never be shaken by noise again. Protect your energy like it's gold. Your energy is your currency. And just like money, you better be careful where you spend it, who you invest it in, and what kind of return you're getting. Some folks out here ain't adding value. They just draining your account. You wake up full of purpose, full of joy, full of drive. Then you talk to the wrong person and suddenly you feel empty. That's not by accident. That's a leak in your spirit. And if you don't plug those leaks, you'll keep living tired for no reason. Everybody doesn't deserve access to your energy. That's the hard truth. You can be kind without being available. You can be loving without being drained. You can be present without being pulled in every direction like a war. Not rope. People who ain't doing nothing with their lives will always want your time. They'll want your attention. They'll want your emotions, but what they really want is a free ride on your power. And if you ain't careful, you'll let them hitchhike on your soul. There's nothing wrong with helping people, but there is something wrong with enabling toxicity. Protecting your energy means you don't apologize for putting boundaries in place. It means you stop explaining why your peace matters more than their approval. Stop letting folks pull you into conversations that go nowhere. Stop entertaining gossip that poisons your mindset. Stop showing up to fights that were never meant for you. Some places you walk into and instantly feel the drain. Listen to that. That's your spirit warning you. Not everyone is meant to go with you. Some people were seasonal, but you made them permanent, and now your energy is paying the price. You're tired not because you're weak, but because you're carrying what you weren't designed to hold. Start auditing your relationships. Who lifts you, who drains you, who speaks life into you, and who brings death to your dreams. When you protect your energy, you don't feel guilty for cutting off what's killing your growth. Your future requires fuel, and if you give all your fuel to dead-end situations, you won't have enough left for your own journey. You're out here pushing everybody's car while yours sits on empty. That ain't noble. That's self-neglect. Protecting your energy means saying no without explanation. It means walking away from chaos without guilt. It means choosing solitude over shallow crowds. It means you don't let anyone borrow your peace if they ain't bringing any to the table. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you weren't born to be everybody's emotional sponge. That's not your purpose. You weren't made to fix people who refuse to heal. You weren't made to dance every time someone else feels uncomfortable in your stillness. Your light is powerful, but even the sun rests, even the ocean pulls back, even the strongest warriors retreat to recharge. You've got to do the same. Rest is not weakness, it's maintenance. Silence is not distance, it's preservation. When you start protecting your energy, your circle gets smaller. Your time gets more guarded. Your peace gets more precious. And that's when the real growth begins. That's when you start living from a full tank, not fumes. So don't feel bad for choosing you. Don't feel bad for turning off your phone. Don't feel bad for not showing up to drama. You've got a destiny to protect, a soul to preserve, and a future that depends on your energy being whole and undisturbed. You don't owe everybody a response. Everybody these days got something to say. They got opinions, judgments, criticisms. They handing them out like candy. But let's make one thing clear. You don't owe everybody a response. Your silence is not weakness. It's wisdom. People love to pull you into pointless battles. They poke, they prod, they throw jabs. Not because they want clarity, but because they want control. And the moment you respond, you hand them power. You give them your focus. You give them a piece of you that they never earned. Not every comment deserves your comeback. Not every lie deserves your truth. Not every insult deserves your attention. Some things are better left unanswered, not because you're afraid, but because you're focused. See, the most powerful version of you is the one that don't flinch, the one that doesn't chase validation, the one that can hear nonsense and still stay centered. That's real power, not reacting when your pride wants to. That's strength, not entertaining fools who don't know your value. Responding is emotional spending, and if you keep spending on every little thing that upsets you, you'll go spiritually bankrupt. You only got so much energy per day. Why waste it on people who ain't contributing to your peace? They post something shady online. Let it go. They mumble something under their breath. Keep walking. They twist your words. Don't chase it. Some folks just want to see if they can shake your peace, and when they can't, that shakes them more than anything else you could say. The problem is, too many people are addicted to defending themselves. But if you're always explaining, always justifying, always correcting, when do you have time to live? When do you have time to grow, to heal, to elevate? You don't need to be understood by everybody. You don't need to be liked by everybody. And you surely don't need to respond to everybody. Sometimes silence is your best statement. Sometimes your peace is your strongest argument. Maturity shows up when you can say, I could respond, but I won't. I could snap, but I choose not to. I could prove you wrong, but I'd rather prove myself right by staying on track. That's real emotional control. That's discipline. That's legacy. Level living. You've got to remember, not everyone deserves a seat at your table, and they definitely don't deserve a piece of your mind. Let them wonder why you ain't reacting. Let them talk to the air. Let your stillness confuse their chaos. The people who truly know you don't need explanations. The ones who don't, they wouldn't believe you anyway. So why waste breath trying to convince someone who's committed to misunderstanding you? Sometimes you gotta rise so high that they can't reach you with words. They'll shout from the ground, but you ain't even in earshot anymore. That's what happens when you stop responding and start ascending. Your greatest clapback is success. Your most powerful response is peace. Your loudest answer is your elevation. Let them gossip while you build. Let them criticize while you grow. Let them assume while you evolve. Your story will speak for itself. Your fruit will prove your root. Your life will reflect your truth. So leave people to their opinions and get back to your mission. Because when you're living in purpose, distractions don't deserve dialogue. Grow so big, pettiness can't reach you. There comes a time in your life when you stop shrinking to fit into spaces you've outgrown. You stop lowering your volume just to make small minds comfortable. You stop bending over backwards for folks who wouldn't lift a finger for you. That's the moment you grow. That's when the elevation begins. Growth ain't just about more money, more success, or more praise. It's about more peace, more wisdom, more self-control. When you truly start growing, you stop reacting to things that used to set you off. You stop arguing with people who ain't even on your level spiritually, emotionally, or mentally. Petty people love to pull you back. They want you to match their drama, meet them in the mud, throw dirt, clap back, get even. But when you grow, that stuff don't even move you. You look at it and say, that's beneath where I'm going. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. You start realizing what's worth your time and what's just noise. You stop responding to bait. You stop explaining your value. You stop attending arguments you were never meant to be in. Because when you've grown, silence is your new sword. The higher you go, the less nonsense you entertain. That's why eagles don't fly with pigeons. It's not that the eagle is better. It's that the eagle is built for different altitudes. You gotta learn how to soar above the foolishness, not get dragged back down into it. You're not meant to stay where people expect the old version of you. You've evolved, you've healed, you've leveled up. But if you're not careful, you'll keep responding to old triggers with new wisdom, and waste your growth on people who ain't changed at all. There will always be someone trying to throw shade on your shine. That's a fact, but once you reach a certain height, their shade can't even touch you. You become unreachable by negativity, not because you're hiding, but because you've risen too high. The old you used to snap back. The old you used to argue. The old you used to get offended real quick. But the new you smile, you stay calm, you walk away. That's growth, that's power, that's self, mastery, and ain't nobody taking that from you. Growth teaches you that not every invitation deserves an RSVP. Just because someone is loud doesn't mean they deserve your energy. Just because someone's wrong about you doesn't mean you have to fix it. Let them talk while you elevate. You ever seen a skyscraper argue with a broken window? Exactly. Because when you grow, you realize your presence alone is intimidating to small-minded people. You don't need to stoop to their level. Let them misunderstand you. You were never meant to be understood by people stuck in places you've already left. And don't be surprised when people from your past start acting like your growth is a problem. That's just insecurity talking. They liked you better when you were smaller, quieter, easier to manipulate. But you're not that person anymore. You've upgraded. Growing means setting boundaries. It means choosing peace over popularity. It means letting go of people who only knew how to love the broken version of you. It means rising above, not to show off but to survive. You don't have to explain why you don't argue anymore. You don't have to defend your silence. You don't owe anyone access to your growth. You just keep living, keep shining, keep stretching higher. Let your results do the talking. Every time you rise above pettiness, you make room for blessings. Every time you choose peace over revenge, you invite favor into your life. Every time you ignore the bait, you prove to yourself that you're no longer who you used to be. And that, right there, is the win. So grow so big, so bold, so full of purpose, that pettiness can't even reach you. Let the small stuff stay small. You were made for heights. You were built to soar, unshakable, untouchable, unbothered. Now listen. You made it through the fire. You heard every truth. You felt every word. And now you've got no excuse. You know what to do. You don't have to walk through life angry no more. You don't have to keep snapping, clapping back, or explaining yourself to people who don't even deserve access to your peace. You've been given tools now, and once you know better, you move better. From now on, you don't match energy. You protect your own. You don't take things personal. You see people for what they're carrying. You don't chase validation. You stand in your worth. You don't respond to every fool. You keep your crown straight and keep walking. You're not here to be shaken by petty words, small minds, or temporary storms. You were built to stand still in chaos, to smile in confusion, to rise while others fall apart. You were built different, and it's time to live like it. Because at the end of the day, your peace is your power, your calm is your weapon, and your growth, that's your legacy. That's what you pass down. That's what changes everything around you. People will try to disturb your peace just to make sense of their own pain. Let them try. Let them wonder why their drama can't reach you anymore. Let them talk, but you stay focused, you stay calm, you stay unbothered, you're not cold, you're clear, you're not distant, you're disciplined, you're not heartless, you're healed. You've finally stepped into the version of you that doesn't need approval to feel powerful. And every time you choose silence over screaming, stillness over storming, discipline over drama, you prove that you are no longer a prisoner of people's opinions. You are no longer a puppet on strings pulled by chaos. You are powerful, you are focused, you are elevated, and from this day forward, you are the one who decides what touches your spirit. So walk forward with peace in your heart, stillness in your soul, and strength in your silence. You ain't just surviving life anymore, you're mastering it. Now go on, and be unshakable, untouchable, and unbothered. Your time is here.